So what's the mechanism? This is a very important concept here. I want you to understand, I want you to comprehend, I want you to believe that tooth cracks are induced by dental treatment. Tooth cracks do not occur as a sudden phenomenon, like an accident, like a car accident, bicycle. No, we're talking about the dental cracks. By the time you see that crack externally on the marginal ridge or in the floor of the pulp chamber, the crack has gone through 5 stages. The first, you have the incident, the ledge. Then you have a microcrack. You add pressure to it, you go to line development, line crack. And more pressure, more procedures, you go to fissure crack, propagation gets bigger, and you go more pressure, more procedure, more stress, more trauma, it manifests as a fracture. And this is why we must look for them at the early stages. We're not going to find them at the microcrack, but we certainly find them at the line cracks on marginal ridges, under crowns, under restorations. We find them when we lay a flap at the apical third. But if you don't lay a flap and discover them, the crack from the apex goes to midroot, goes all the way to cervical line, and now you have a fracture. So exploratory surgery is a preventive procedure. Restoration removal is a preventive procedure. And you'll see more of that coming up. So this is what I call the stress points. Here we have a solder joint. Here we have, look at that. This is what I call the deadly short post. The cervical zone is the weakest zone. The cervical zone of the tooth is that's where you have your pre-flare. That's where you have the canal enlarged. At the cervical zone, you don't have good bone. At the cervical zone, the dentin inside is organic. And then you remove it, and all you got is the external dentin, which is more metallic, more mineral, and cracks easily. So you don't want to over enlarge the cervical zone. And certainly you do not want the post, any post, to end at the cervical zone. It must go deep, deep to carry all the stresses up to the apical third and then distribute it evenly with you have bone. So here is a stress point. Every single one of those I have removed, I have treated, and I have seen the cracks in my own eyes. All of these cases, this is a stress point. This is a ledge and a stress point. This is a ledge and could not go down and a stress point. All of these teeth were cracked and treated surgically, but that's not the subject tonight. Crack. Okay? That's what I was talking about earlier. The metal elastic modulus is 200 gigabytes Pascal, and the fiber is 50 to 70, and the dentin is 15 to 20. And when you have a healthy tooth, you see the biting pressure, the occlusion forces distributed all evenly everywhere in every direction. When you have a post, a fiber post, you see it distributed. And then when you have a restoration, and you see here with the post, everything concentrated at the end. So here the concentration of forces, if this is over here, that's where you have cracks. Here you have a crack at the apex and then extend into cervical zone. And that's what I do today. These are the cases I've done here in Riyadh. You see here, we're using the fiber post only. And tremendous. And we have some reasons, we explain that later to you. It's more biologic, kinder to the tooth, kinder to the patient, and better prognosis, of course.